hear the part of me that wants to think in slower lines and kinder ways, without that pressure in the chest, without the old reflex to run. Before I've even fully rested, the kettle starts, the floor is warm, a patch of sunlight by the chair, and all at once the day looks different, like it might not ask too much from here. No alarms inside my body, no invisible race to win, just one clear breath and then another, letting quieter hours begin. No need to rush today, no need to prove you're faster, no need to rush today. Let the soft light answer after every list that tried to own you, every clock that bore your name. No need to rush today, let the whole room say the same. The dishes from the night before can wait a minute, maybe two. The world will keep without me spinning at the speed it trained me to. I open up the window halfway, hear the street below wake up, a bicycle, a passing voice, the little clink of someone's cup, and none of it feels threatening, none of it feels sharp or loud, just ordinary life unfolding without demanding I stand out. I used to meet the day already halfway tangled in my head, but this one starts with lower shoulders and enough calm to move instead. No need to rush today, let the body choose the rhythm. No need to rush today, let the easy pulse be with you. You can still arrive at living without running from the start. No need to rush today, make some room around the heart. Watch the light move on the tile, the simplest little household motions take the strain down by a mile. There is grace in being early, not in time but early too. The way the morning wants to hold me before the loud things all come through. Maybe peace is not in inactivity, maybe peace is just this pace where every task keeps its own edges, but none of them invade my space. Maybe healing in the daytime looks less like stopping, more like choice, a softer way to enter hours with less demand inside the voice. No need to rush today, the coffee cools, the blinds stay open. No need to rush today, let the rushed up self stay broken. Open, loosened from command, no performance left to play. No need to rush today, no need to rush today, no need to rush today. The kitchen knows, the sunlight knows. No need to rush today, the open window, kettle stove. No need to rush today, till the breath and light align, and the whole day starts by telling me my life can still be mine.
There is sun on the kitchen floor, lying flat like it belongs. Not dramatic, not a miracle, just a patch of quiet gold. But I stand in it like it matters, because today it kinda does. 'cause the little things have started to remind me what simple was. My coffee leaves a ring beside me. The radio is playing low. The neighbor's dog barks once downstairs, then even that decides to slow. I never thought I'd need this much from such an ordinary room. But maybe after too much pressure, small warmth becomes a kind of proof. Sun on the kitchen floor, stay a little more till the hard edges in my head don't feel so hard anymore. Sun on the kitchen floor, bright and soft and plain. Teach the body how to move without that old familiar strain. I drag my socks across the tile and hear the cabinet shut slow. I rinse a spoon, I watch the water catch the light and let it go. No audience, no expectation, no one asking where I'll land. Just one morning making mercy out of simple things at hand. The clock is there but not commanding. The list is there but not the law. And I can almost feel the distance growing where the panic was. I used to start the day defensive, like the daylight came to test. Now the room in all its brightness feel less like work and more like rest. Sun on the kitchen floor, shine against my feet, make the small and steady hours feel unexpectedly sweet. Sun on the kitchen floor, bigger meaning asked, just enough to hold me still till I stop outrunning tasks. Outside someone lifts a metal gate, a bus size somewhere down the block. The whole neighborhood wakes in layers, soft as hands around a clock. And I am part of it this morning, not late, not lost, not falling through, just a person in a lit up room, beginning something quieter and true. Maybe calm is not perfection, maybe calm is this exact pace, a day that doesn't need to sparkle, just enough light across a place where I can stand and remember slowly that living doesn't always roar. Sometimes peace is made in sunlight on the kitchen floor. Sun on the kitchen floor, stay until I'm ready. Sun on the kitchen floor, keep the breathing even steady. One more moment in the gold before the daylight asks for more. Sun on the kitchen floor, sun on the kitchen floor.
window stays half open and the curtain breathes it in. Cool air moving through the room like a softer way to begin. The page on the table lifts once, then settles by my hand. And even that small motion says the day does not have to demand. A truck rolls by below the building, then a laugh from down the street. A spoon against a glass somewhere, a bicycle bell quick and sweet. All the little city noises come up thin by noon blue sky. Not like pressure at the doorway, more like proof the world can pass by. Kind window breeze, easy mind, let the bright hours stay alive. By that old rush, by that old grind. Window breeze, easy mind. Take the sharpness out of noon, turn the room into a lighter tune. Stay repaired. There's room between the dishes, room between the texts and plans, room between the wanting more and the softness in my hands. I never used to notice spaces, only movement, only push, but now the quiet in between feels like where the panic hushes. Window breeze, easy mind, make the thoughts arrive untied. Easy mind, leave a little blue inside, where the breathing can stay wider, where the shoulders leave the climb. Window breeze, easy mind, easy mind, easy mind. The cloud slides slow across the glass. The whole room changes by degrees. No drama in it, just that gentle way that light can leave and reappear. And somehow that becomes a lesson. I don't have to force a thing. Some days healing looks like noticing what the open window brings. Maybe calm is not an answer, maybe calm is moving air. A noon that doesn't close around me, a brighter hour that knows how to spare a little space for wandering focus, a little mercy in the room, and a curtain lifting once or twice like a day can learn a softer tune. Window breeze, easy mind, take your time, take your time. Window breeze, easy mind, you don't need to outline. Let the room stay loose around me, let the day stay warm and kind. Window breeze, easy mind. Window breeze, easy mind. I push the window open wider, and the room takes in the street. Cool air moves across the curtains, then settles somewhere near my sleeves. A bus door folds, a vendor laughs, someone rolls a bike below, and all of it comes up in layers like a softer world I know. There is laundry in the basket, there is bread left on the board. There is nothing here impressive massive, but it doesn't need reward. Today I want the plainness of it. The open window, the moving white of clouds reflected in the cabinet, and daylight entering without a fight. Open window, slow morning. Let the city come in kind. Open window, slow morning. Take the tightness from my mind. I don't need a grand beginning. I don't need a warning sign. Open window, slow morning. Let the day arrive in time. I set a glass beside the sink now. Hear one spoon against a bowl. The little domestic music has a steadying kind of soul. The air smells faintly green and dusty, like rain that hasn't reached us yet. And even all the ordinary chores feel less like burden, more like set the stage for living, nothing more. A table, fruit, a folded note, the kind of life that doesn't glitter but can still keep a person afloat. I used to start my day like bracing for every question, every pull, but this morning has a wider body, and it is asking something small. Open window, slow morning. Move the fresh air through the blue. Open window, slow morning. Make some room for something true. Not the version built for labor, not the one trained to impress, just the one who wants to greet the day with a quieter kind of yes. A plant leans gently toward the frame. The dish towel hangs in softened lines. My phone stays mute across the table, and I don't feel behind this time. There is such relief in being present before the hurry writes its claim, in letting all the simple pieces of the room remain the same. So let the curtains lift and settle, let the brighter hours begin. Not with impact, not with panic, but with air moving through skin. And if the day becomes more crowded, I will still have had this thing. Open window, slow morning, as a place my mind can bring. Open window, slow morning. Stay until the floorboards shine. Open window, slow morning. Teach the pulse a calmer line. If the world gets louder later, let this first soft hour still sing. Slow morning. Open window, slow morning.
The street is already moving, but I don't have to move that way. I can step into the morning without letting it decide how much of me belongs to speed, how much of me belongs to strain. I have learned the cost of living, like every hour is a train. I stand outside the corner store with my coffee and the breeze, watching shadows from the awning shift across the bikes and trees. Everybody has somewhere to be, and so do I guess it's true, but maybe destination matters less than how I make my way through. Take the day slowly, you can still get there. Take the day slowly, carry less in the air. You don't need to drag tomorrow through the middle of today. Take the day slowly, take the day slowly. The crosswalk light turns white to red. A little child points at the bus. A worker shakes a vending can. The city starts without a fuss, and I can feel my old reflex trying to tighten up my chest. But the sunlight on the storefront glass keeps asking for something less. Less fear, less rehearsal, less proving while I walk, less invisible debate inside my head with every thought. More noticing the tree shadows, more letting my own footsteps land, more room inside the daylight for a body and its hands. Take the day slowly, let the mind unclench in motion. Take the day slowly, keep the heart above the ocean of old alarms and practice tension. They used to call this pace too small. Take the day slowly, there is still a day at all. I pass a dog tied to a railing, who looks at me like he knows that speed is mostly human worry, and the wind is where he goes. I laugh, and something in that laugh comes from lower in the lungs, like maybe all the softer living is still a song that can be sung. Maybe peace is not stillness only. Maybe peace can walk the block with a coffee cooling in one hand and no battle with the clock. Maybe progress is not pressure. Maybe grace is steady feet. Maybe moving without punishment makes arriving far more sweet. Take the day slowly till the sky sits easy blue. Take the day slowly till your body believes you when you say we are not running from ourselves or from the ache. Take the day slowly for your own heart's sake. Take the day slowly, let the long world lose its thread. Take the day slowly,
notebook opens on the table beside the half-drunk cup of tea. A stripe of light across the margin makes the whole page easier to read. The spoon is still inside the sink. The chair is pulled out just enough. The room is bright without being cruel, and for once that feels like trust. I don't need the whole day finished, I don't need the whole week solved. I just need this table, this light, this hour soft enough to hold one thought, then one more after. One line that doesn't have to prove that I deserve this quiet focus or the air I am breathing through. This table, this light, this hour, that can be enough for me. This table, this light, this hour, let the bright room set me free from that old need to turn each minute into pressure, into power. This table, this light, this hour, this table, this light, this hour. Outside a motor fades below me. Inside the fan keeps turning slow. The curtain lifts, the pen rolls slightly, then stops where afternoon winds blow. Small details, but they keep me here, in the body, in the chair. Not in 10 imagined futures, not inside that old bright stare. I write one sentence, cross out two, then smile instead of calling it lost. Leave a little blank between the lines and do not count that as a cost. There is a kinder kind of focus that doesn't tighten at the jaw, that lets a drifting thought come back without turning softness into flaw. This table, this light, this hour, one page and then one more. This table, this light, this hour, less burden than before. I don't need a harder rhythm, I don't need the mind to tower over every quiet second. This table, this light, this hour. I used to think attention meant a clenched up kind of narrow sight, but maybe the best work happens when the body isn't fighting light, when the heart is not preoccupied with whether slowness counts as drive, when the room and task can meet me without making me survive them first. Maybe discipline can be gentle, maybe order can still breathe, maybe a soft and living structure is what I've actually needed. Not a harsher hand against myself, not one more internal drill, but a bright room and a steady table, teaching effort to stay still. This table, this light, this hour, keep the louder habits out. This table, this light, this hour, turn the midday down from doubt into something clear and simple, something livable and ours. This table, this light, this hour, this table, this light, this hour. You came in with the groceries, I was wiping down the sink. The room was full of moonlight, and that silence where we think at the same time without talking, like a language made of ease. paper bags against the chair legs, a breeze moving through the leaves. You held up peaches like a question. I laughed and nodded yes, and somehow all the light around us made the whole day feel less pressed. Not because the work was over, not because the world was done, but because love in a bright kitchen can feel simple as the sun. Light on the countertop, light on your hands, light on the countertop, softening all our plans. We don't need to solve the future, we don't need to say a lot. Just stand here for a minute with the light on the countertop. You rinse the fruit beneath the tap, I dry the cutting board. We move around each other slowly without ever keeping score. A song comes through the speaker, half heard under the fan, and everything about the hour feels human in the best way it can. We talk about the smallest things first, what the street looked like outside, how the heat is finally shifting, how the afternoon feels wide. Then we talk about the harder things, but not like they need a fix, more like setting them down briefly among the peaches and the dishes. Light on the countertop, stay a little while. Light on the countertop, make the serious things mild. Not a race, not made untrue, just softer at the edges now. Enough to let two tired people breathe before they figure out how. The knife meets wood in easy rhythm. You tuck one strand behind your ear. I realize how much of love is just a bright room with someone near. Not rescue, not intensity, not a promise written large, just shared daylight in a kitchen, taking tension out of charge. Maybe tenderness at noon matters more than midnight vows. Maybe healing in the daytime is simpler than I thought somehow. A hand passing me the tea towel, a shoulder brushing when you turn. The light on the countertop, and all the gentleness I learned. Light on the countertop, blue plate, cut fruit, open sky. Light on the countertop, teaching the pulse not to try. So hard to hold everything when some things can simply rest. Here in this ordinary brightness, where love feels easiest.
By the time the noon goes softer and the sharper light turns white, I can feel the old momentum trying hard to come inside, as if the afternoon must prove itself by how much it can contain, as if slowing down at midday would make the whole day come undone again. But the shadows under balconies have a calmer thing to say. The cafe door swings open once, then easy closes on the day. pace through the afternoon. Keep the daylight clear and slow. Kind pace through the afternoon. Let the easy current flow. I don't need to win these hours. I don't need to outrun them. Kind pace through the afternoon. Stay with me a little longer soon. I pass a bookstore with its boxes left outside in strips of light. An old man waters folded flowers like the heat will take them right. A student leans against a railing, reading with her bag half open. And all the simple public living makes the city feel less broken. There is relief in being nameless in a street that lets me be just one more person moving gently, not a project to complete. My phone can stay inside the pocket. My thoughts can wait another block. My body does not need to posture for the judgment of a clock. Kind pace through the afternoon. Round the corner past the trees. Kind pace through the afternoon. Move the tension by degrees. Not erased, not fully healed, but no longer all-consuming too. Kind pace through the afternoon. Make a softer road come through. I used to think the daytime belonged to output, noise, and proof, to piling one more task on top of all the tiredness I knew. But now this slower way of walking feels like part of how I mend, how I keep from breaking open at the far side of each end. Maybe pace is also medicine. Maybe motion can still care. Maybe taking up less violence inside my mind is part of prayer. Not in words, not in perfection, just in how I take the street, with more patience in my breathing and a lighter kind of feet. Kind pace through the afternoon till the harder thoughts turn thin. Kind pace through the afternoon. Carry less of everything in the same clenched hands, the same old jaw, the same old need to get there soon. Kind pace through the afternoon. Kind pace through the afternoon.
I leave the shop with lighter hands and lighter thoughts than I came in with. A bag with bread, a bottle fruit, and somehow less beneath my ribs. The trees along the side street move in a low and patient way, like even wind can cross a city without needing to make a case. There are so many ways is to carry more than anyone can see. The extra sentence in the jaw, the old urgency in the feet, the invisible little overweight of every half-remembered stress. I have held them like belongings, long past any usefulness. Carry less, walk soft. Let the shoulders learn to drop. Carry less, walk soft. You do not have to brace non-stop. For every look, every delay, every thought that tries to cause, carry less, walk soft. Carry less, walk soft. The crossing light changes and I wait without feeling late inside. A scooter cuts through sunlit dust. A cat slips out and then out of sight. The whole world keeps its own momentum, and I am not in charge of it. There is a freedom in admitting I was never built for that kind of grip. The bag digs lightly in my fingers, but not in the punishing way. Just enough to remind the body that I'm here in the middle of day. A person on a softened block, not a nervous system first, not a machine that turns all daylight into some test of value or worth. Carry less, walk soft, past the shutters and the shade. Carry less, walk soft. Let the harder habits fade. You can still be moving forward without the old internal force. Carry less, walk soft. Set a gentler daily course. I think of all the times I hurried past the mercy of a tree, past the smell of bread, the laundry lines, past the simple right to be in a body on a sidewalk with enough room in the lungs to let the world be unimportant for the length of one bright song. Maybe less is also fullness. Maybe soft is also strong. Maybe peace is not a vacancy. Maybe it is where I belong. In the middle of a weekday, not extraordinary, not lost, just learning how to walk more lightly when the old pace feels too costly. Carry less, walk soft, till the block turns into home. Carry less, walk soft, till the mind no longer roams ahead into imagined trouble, back into remembered fault. Carry less, walk soft.
just walks off.
I know the kind of day that hunts from the second morning starts, where every hour feels sharpened like a hand around the heart. When noon arrives already asking why you aren't more than you are, where even sunlight feels demanding, like it came to raise the bar. But this one moves in gentler lines. This one doesn't bare its teeth. This one lets me cross the hours without the panic underneath. The page can stay half finished. The call can wait 10 minutes more, and nothing in the air suggests that rest is what I should ignore. A day that doesn't chase me, a day that lets me stay inside my own breathing through the middle of the day. A day that doesn't chase me, a day that leaves me room to be a softer version of the life moving through. The cafe table by the window has a ring of light and shade. I sit there with a cooling drink and let the thinking rearrange into something less defensive, less prepared to always prove that I deserve this patch of afternoon, or any little ease that moves. I hear two friends at the next table talking softly over lunch. A train line passing in the distance, like a memory without the punch. A spoon against a glass somewhere, a chair pulled back across the tile, and every sound seems part of something that was never built to judge my style. A day that doesn't chase me, a day that lets me hear the little public music without turning it severe. A day that doesn't chase me, a day that doesn't bite at every slower answer or every softer right. I used to think momentum meant the day must always pull ahead, like if I ever stopped resisting, I would disappear instead. But maybe the opposite is truer. Maybe pressure blurs the face, and days that leave a little distance make more room for actual grace. The trees outside are flickering in the bright reflected cars. The server wipes the counter once, and nothing here feels hard. Not solved, not healed forever, not a cure I can retain. Just one full afternoon reminding me that ease is not the enemy of change. A day that doesn't chase me, stay till the light goes wide. A day that doesn't chase me, keep the old alarms outside. A day that doesn't chase me, long enough to let me say I can still be fully living without being hunted by the day. A day that doesn't chase me, a day that gives me back the space between a thought and breath, the room between the tasks. A day that doesn't chase me, that might be all I need to carry my own heart more gently through the bright and open streets. The blue mug on the windowsill looks almost white in noonday light, the kind of bright that usually would make my thoughts pull hard and tight. But today the room is balanced, half in warmth and half in air. And even all the brightness feels easier to wear. I make more tea instead of coffee, as if the body knew before that afternoon would need a gentler kind of fuel than all that roar. The steam curls up and disappears, the leaves go gold beneath the glass, and I stand there with the sunlight, letting one more sharp hour pass. Moonlight, moonlight, blue mug, stay simple, stay true. Moonlight, knew let the higher light come through, without turning hard or restless, without pushing me too soon. Moonlight, blue mug, moonlight, blue mug. The fan turns circles overhead, the page I left is waiting still. I read 2 lines, I look away and do not treat that as a fail. There is a kinder kind of focus that doesn't punish when it drifts, that lets the mind come back in pieces and still calls that a gift. I never knew how much self-cruelty was hiding in my daily rules, how every bright and open daytime became a room of silent tools. But this one asks for less precision, this one leaves some softness in the place where I can think without making thought a test again. Moonlight, blue mug, tea ring on the wooded blue mug, making little moments good, enough to hold the middle hours without demanding something new. Moonlight, blue mug, teach me how to move through you. The street below is bleaching slowly in the summer thin white haze. Somebody laughs and then a siren passes far and doesn't stay. And even all that mixed up city feels less jagged than it should. Maybe because this room and mug are making brightness feel more good. Maybe the cure is not escape, maybe the cure is one small thing: a blue mug, one chair, moonlight, and enough breath to hear them sing. Not loudly, not like revelation, just clearly in the middle span of a day that used to overwhelm and now feels more like something I can stand. Moonlight, blue mug, stay beside me while beside the pen. Outside the window someone's talking, and the street goes quiet again. The fan keeps time above my head. The curtain leans into the frame. In this small corner of the daylight, feels less like work and more like place. I sit down with one gentle purpose, not to conquer, not to prove, just to give this hour some shape that still leaves air enough to move. The light lands clean across the notebook. The chair gives low beneath my weight, and something in the way the room holds makes the mind arrive less late. Soft focus at the table, stay with me, stay mild. Soft focus at the table, keep the bright hour kind. I don't need intensity to make the middle of the day feel true. Soft focus at the table, let calm help me through. The pen moves slower than expected. One line comes, then changes shape. I let it do that without calling, every little shift escape. There is a kinder kind of focus that doesn't tighten at the jaw, that lets a drifting thought come back without turning, drifting to flaw. A dish clicks once somewhere behind me. The kettle cools beside the stove. The whole apartment feels companioned by low domestic undertones. And even concentration feels a little more alive this way, when thought can sit beside the body instead of dragging it all day. Soft focus at the table, one line then one more. Soft focus at the table, less burden than before. No need to become a machine made of check marks and alarms. Soft focus at the table keeps the pressure from my arms. I used to think attention meant a narrow kind of heated sight, but maybe the best work happens when the body isn't fighting light, when the heart is not preoccupied with whether stillness counts as drive, when the room and task can meet me without making me survive them first. Maybe discipline can look like love, maybe structure can look like grace, maybe progress has a lower voice and a softer kind of pace. Maybe one completed thought with breath still left inside the chest is worth more than 5 frantic pages written from a state of stress. Soft focus at the table, stay until the shadows slide. Soft focus at the table, keep the harsher habits outside. No need to turn the noon against me, no need to make the effort loom. Soft focus at the table. Soft focus at the table. There is a kind of mercy in not asking daylight to heal all of it, in not demanding every hour return what's been missing from the spirit. Maybe this one can just be itself, a table tea, one line of thought. Maybe this hour can be enough. closing over me. Enough for this hour, enough for this light, enough for this hour. I don't need more to be alright. Not forever, not completely, not by every standard. I knew enough for this hour, and this hour can be true. The blinds cast stripes across the notebook. The pen rests warm between my hands. My thoughts are not arranged like soldiers, more like weather over land. And I can let them move that way without deciding that I'm lost, without turning every pause into another hidden cost. A message comes and I don't answer right away, and nothing breaks. The sky stays where it always was. The room still breathes, the fan still wakes. The air in little cooling circles around the plant beside the sill, and all the gentleness and motion makes the inward noise less shrill. Enough for this hour, enough for this song, enough for this hour to keep the tired heart along the softer path through brighter time, the kinder thought beneath the blue. Enough for this hour, enough to carry through. I used to think self-worth required a larger daily sort of proof, but there is wisdom in the smaller, and a strange beauty in enough. What if the middle of the daytime was not a trial but a place where I could practice being human without demanding perfect grace? The neighbor drags a chair nearby, a spoon taps once against a cup. Someone waters balcony plants and lets the overflow drip down. The whole world is still working, yes, but not in only violent ways. Some parts of life continue kindly through the middle of the day. Enough for this hour, let the noon be light and clear. Enough for this hour, keep the steadier self near. Enough for this hour, till the sharper thoughts lose power. I can live inside a smaller piece if it's enough for this hour. Enough for this hour, enough for this breath, enough for this breath, enough for this bright small room and the quiet in it. Yeah. has ever trusted before. We found a table near the window, where the light was wide but kind, not the harsh and flattening sort, the softer kind that leaves a mind. Enough room to say what's true, without making it too sharp. Enough room to keep a heart weak from turning brittle in the heart. Your hand around a cold glass, mine tracing circles in the grain. We started with the weather first, then drifted toward the realer pain. Not as confession, not as crisis, just the shape the hours had made on our bodies, in our thinking, in the places pressure stayed. Daylight makes it easier to say the truer thing. Daylight makes it easier to loosen what we bring. No midnight drama, no disguise, no dark to hide inside. Daylight makes it easier with you here by my side. You said you've been waking braced again. I said I know that kind of dawn. You said the smallest things feel heavy. I said that's been going on for me as well, but somehow saying it here in all this bright cafe air made the burden lose some theater, made the truth feel easier to bear. There is something strange and lovely about sadness under noon. It can't hide behind the midnight. It has to wear a plainer suit, and maybe that is why it softens when we let it sit in view. Not dramatized, not minimized, just held in ordinary blue. Daylight makes it easier to breathe before reply. Daylight makes it easier to let the hard things lie for one more second on the table till the chest feels less severe. Daylight makes it easier to have you sitting here. The cups collect thin rings of water. A server clears a table near. A bicycle bell outside the door cuts through the air bright and clear. And even all those little sounds don't break the quiet we are in. They only make the moment human, make the comfort sink within. Maybe care in daylight matters because it asks less of disguise. Maybe gentleness at noon keeps the harder hours from hardening inside. Maybe love is partly this, a bright room and a slower tone, where two people tell the truth and neither one feels more alone. Daylight makes it easier till the shadows tilt a bit. Daylight makes it easier till the chest no longer flinches at every thought of what comes next or everything we haven't solved. Daylight makes it easier and keeps the afternoon involved. wasteland of gold. I feel the day inside my body, not heavy now, just lift and hold. There is still more waiting later. Maybe work, maybe a train, maybe all the ordinary weather that arrives and leaves again. But something changed within the daylight, something bright and low and true, a softer way of moving through it that I wanna carry to into the hours after this one, into the rooms I haven't seen, like a small reserve of kindness, saved from what the day has been. Leave some light for yourself when the noon begins to fade. Leave some light for yourself from the gentler hours you made. Don't spend every bright good minute trying to become someone else. Leave some light for yourself. Leave some light for yourself. The mug is rinsed, the page half filled, the window open one last inch, the fan still cutting easy circles through the room's warm middle titch. I gather up the small remains of all the calm that lived in here, and realize that peace can travel if I choose to keep it near. Not as a promise, nothing hard will ever find me after this, but as a way of meeting pressure without surrendering all of this. Light on the floorboards, fruit on a plate, the soft noon talk, the gentler pace, all the little things that taught my heart a less punishing way through days. Leave some light for yourself in the pocket of your coat. Leave some light for yourself in the lower tone of thought. Leave some light for yourself when the streets grow loud again, so the softer self you found today can find its way back in. I used to spend my brightest hours like I could not keep a thing, like every bit of calm I touch would vanish by the evening. But maybe steadiness is built from carrying one thread along, from letting one kind afternoon keep humming like a song. So I close the notebook gently, push the chair back from the table, turn the music just a little down, and feel both quiet and able. Not in the old punishing sense, not ready for a race to start, just ready to protect the softness that daylight grew inside my heart. Leave some light for yourself when the sky turns paler blue. Leave some light for yourself, for the later version of you who will need a little proof again that life can still be kind to you. Leave some light for yourself. Leave some